Previously on Balls.
Which is what we always ask David Campese to do on a Friday afternoon, but we're ready for him now. And the flush out, now proudly brought to you by Imperial Collection, home of the signature brands. Imperial Collection is the importer and distributor of Bentley, Lamborghini and Lotus. You can visit them at www.imperialcollection.co.za. It's all one word, Imperial Collection. Or drop by the dealership. You'll find them on the corner of William Nicol and Bryanston Drive in Josie. If you're in the market or even just want to go and have a look, you won't believe what you will see there. Awesome, awesome. So I want one. Imperial Collection, home of the signature brands. And follow them on Facebook as well, by the way. It's Imperial, all in capitals, Imperial and Collection with a capital C. And then normal the rest of the way. Go and follow them on Facebook, like them and check and see what comes in and what goes out with their signature brands. Campo?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, our signature brand right here on Balls Radio, David Campese.
How are you doing?
All right, and you?
Yeah, mate, not too bad.
That's
been a pretty interesting weekend, hasn't it?
Wow, it has been again. It's just everyone's what everyone thought. I mean, once again, I want to start with the Kings. I just cannot believe how they every week, when you just think, yeah, is it going to tip? Is it going to tip? No, they just seem to be getting better and better.
Yeah, they do, and it's just it was amazing because one week they played the leading team, the Brumbies, and got away with the draw, and then this week I was actually thinking it was either going to be the Kings start off really well and fall apart, or the vice versa, where the Rebels are going to absolutely smack them. But I must give credit to the Kings. They actually, the determination that last 10-15 minutes was absolutely amazing, and you've got to start to think that the Rebels who have been in that position a couple of years ago just haven't learnt a thing, have they? And I was interested that Winterbottom, who's come out as captain, an article today, he actually blames the Australian structure.
Yeah.
The way the Rebels and the Force haven't really gone anywhere. But again, you can't take them away from the Kings. I can't believe that the way they wanted it more. And you can see they were hungry, they believe in themselves, and I think it was great for Super Rugby.
Absolutely. I believe the Rebels have now, that drop on that result has now created all kinds of consternation in Melbourne, where they want to axe who, Johnny? The coach, the captain, everybody.
Well, it's interesting because it's as you know, like I've been in this country for about 18, not even 18 months, 15, 16 months, and when I was in Australia, I tried to sort of say, guys, you got to get to the grassroots. That's where it all starts. But obviously, over the years, all they've worried about is the Super Rugby sides, the Wallabies, winning World Cups, and all this, and they've actually forgotten about the grassroots. And if you do that, you're waiting for disaster, and it has happened. And it's just great that the players come out and sort of said, well, we haven't got the structures, and unfortunately in Australian rugby, as you know, that we haven't got the players. We've got 4 other football coaches, so it is very competitive. But what you need to do is you need to have a product that's going to actually excite people and want them to come along and watch. They've got James O'Connor, Kurtley Beale, a couple of good players, but Kurtley's out. They're not playing as a team. There's no excitement, and you don't really want to go and get the crowd excited and then sort of lose in the last couple of minutes there.
Yeah. Well, they've got their demons to deal with. Meanwhile, over here, it's business as usual. The log kind of stays exactly as it was, although the results have kind of opened it up a little bit more for South Africans, particularly the Stormers beating the Sharks. The Sharks couldn't catch a ball on Saturday. Couldn't catch a cold.
It's quite interesting if you have a look at the game. And, you had 2 teams really that have struggled to score tries this year. But again, when you come to local derbies, they know each other very well. But watching the game, I was just so frustrated, because it's the Sharks they're not really playing as a team yet. They've got a lot of players out, and I suppose the Stormers have as well. They've both got a lot of players out. But it's always the home ground advantage that you've got to take the most of the opportunities. But the Sharks, they just don't seem to. I don't know. They just seem to be lacking something. I don't know if it's leadership or there's a lot of talk off the field, but on the field you've got to deliver. But you just simple mistakes, that you cannot do in this competition, because next week's game is a lot harder than the week that you just played. Yeah.
Look, I mean, that Rebels game was maybe a little bit of what's the word? An anomaly in the way they have been playing, because the 2 weeks before that they weren't all that flash. and they've come back after a break and kind of played the same kind of rugby against a decent side. So, I mean, the fact that they're top of the conference, despite the loss, it doesn't really reflect the kind of rugby they're playing, because they're nowhere near as good as they could be.
No, well, that's what I mean. As I said, like, it's week in, week out rugby, and I think the Kings have demonstrated that with the draw, against the top team, and, just winning against a team that's coming towards the bottom. And that's, as I said, you've got to turn up on that day, otherwise you are going to struggle. Yeah. We saw that with the Force and the Crusaders, but I must say that, again, the referee was unbelievable. I know people could probably get sick of me saying that, but I'm actually sick of refereeing actually destroying a game because of one bad decision. And it is very frustrating, and Nick Mallett went off his rocker on Saturday after the Force game with Kaplan's last couple. And it is very frustrating with the game. And you expect that. The players have got to deliver. They've got to stand up, week in, week out. Why can't the referees? They just seem to be there week in, week out, and they just make mistake after mistake. There's too many, I don't know. The referee can still win or lose a game for you for one bad decision, and that shouldn't be how rugby should be.
Well, I mean, the good sign was, who was it after last weekend's games who did the Stormers game? Got 4 weeks, I think it was
Berry, was it
Stuart Berry or something?
Yeah.
Not considered for 4 weeks or something for Super Rugby. So there is some kind of sanction if they do have a shocker. I don't know exactly what the criteria are, but at least there is some kind of sanction, which is good, because at one stage I thought there wasn't.
Yeah, look, it's hard. I mean, because we don't really know what the situation is. But I think it's really fascinating that, these are the top line referees, not the younger guys. But I think one of the best referees going around is young Jackson, but we haven't seen him. He's on the sideline.
Yeah.
He's one of the best referees, so why don't we play him? I mean, you even saw the Chiefs game with the Chiefs Reds, I think it was, when Massey went to the referee. He gave advantage, Walsh, and once you get advantage, normally you can have 25 phases and you'll come back. They almost scored, and he said, where's your advantage? Oh, no, well, I play on. And he said, well, what do you mean? Well, I'll read it as I see it. But then you get some referees and you're stuck there for 25 phases and you'll come back and give you the penalty. So it's just so bizarre that it's so flexible. It's up to the interpretation of the referees, and I think it's wrong. I think it's going to destroy a lot of teams, because the spectator goes there and they expect their team to win, but you don't want the guy in the middle to take control of the game. You want...
David, how can your phone be breaking up when you're on a landline?
This is South Africa.
All right, I think you're on one of those speaker for walk around phones, so don't walk around too much.
It's just as hard because I've got my kids screaming. I've just got to move.
All right.
So if I can sit here, it's fine.
Okay, now, but apart from the refereeing, I mean, how do you explain the Force beating the Crusaders?
Well, there's two things. The Force, so the Crusaders looked like they were just going to turn up and win in their attitude. You could see that. I was actually thinking at half time, so these guys are going to lose.
But you can't do that anymore. How many times have they beaten teams and yet they still do it?
I know that, Darren, but the Crusaders, you could see they were just going, it looked like a game of touch. They were so slowly. I said to Nick Mallett, I said, these guys aren't taking the game seriously. And then the Force had been the bogey team for the Crusaders over the last couple of years, and I've beaten them a couple of times. So, and again, it came to those last couple of decisions, which really hadn't helped when the Crusaders scrum was so dominant. And, you've got to take your chances. There's two disallowed tries from the Crusaders. One of them obviously could have changed the whole aspect of the game, but the Force, again, determination. The Force lose to the Rebels a week before, and then they turn around and beat one of the best teams running around the competition. So again, if you're not on your game, Darren, you're going to get beaten, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's everyone's taking a little bit of a hit as far as trying to predict what's going to happen from one week to another in this competition.
Yeah, look, it's just one of those things. It's again, it's very, very tough. A lot of players. A lot of teams are starting to rotate players because if you haven't got a good squad, you're not going to win this competition. Yeah. If you think your 15 players are going to run out week in, week out, they're not going to win because physically it actually is getting to be a bash fest. They're hitting each other so hard. But the thing that I look at is all the basic skills are a factor that's got to be sort of lifted up as well, because I think there's a lot of simple things that these guys are doing which, they shouldn't be doing.
Quick predictions from you, Dave?
All right, well, let's see how good you are. How did you do last week, by the way?
I think I went for the Chiefs. I lost that one. I think I went for the Brumbies. I went for the Rebels. I went for New South Wales, but they didn't play, so I won there.
You went for the Sharks.
I went for the Sharks. I went for the Crusaders.
You went for the Bulls.
And I went for the Bulls. Oh, I went for the Bulls and Cheetahs.
Yeah, that's right. You wouldn't go one way or the other. So you got like
exactly. So give me half a point.
2.5. Yeah.
So 2.5 out of whatever it is, not great. Yeah.
All right, let's see how you do this week then. These are the games coming up this weekend in Super Rugby. Johnny?
Hurricanes versus the Force in Wellington.
Yeah, you call that one now.
Hurricanes.
You think the Force, that was a flash in the pan?
I think they've got no idea.
Okay.
Waratahs Chiefs Sydney.
Ooh.
Come on, Mr. Campese.
I'll go to Waratahs.
Yeah, well, why do we even wait for you? You go that way every
Why don't
week.
you just say Waratahs next game?
Yeah, next game, all right.
Crusaders Highlanders Christchurch on Saturday.
Crusaders easily.
Reds Brumbies in Brisbane.
I actually feel sorry.
This is a good one, hey?
I feel sorry for the Highlanders, by the way, in that game, because I think they're going to get a Crusaders backlash.
Yes, I think, but
Yeah.
I think the Reds are going to beat the Brumbies.
Red beat the Brumbies.
Yep, it's Australian rugby versus South African rugby, and I think Australian rugby's going to win.
Okay.
Sharks Cheetahs in Durban.
I think the Sharks are going to win. I don't think they're going to score many tries, but I think, I tell you, if they lose Lambie, they're in big trouble, aren't they,
Yeah.
the Sharks?
Well, that'll put the Cheetahs back on top then, and the Sharks will go down to second. But yeah, they'll be. They can't afford to lose home games.
Tour after this week.
Yeah, they do. So they can't afford to lose
I
home
think they
games.
need the points. The Sharks need the points before
Yeah.
they go away.
And the final one, Southern Kings versus the Bulls in Port Elizabeth.
Oh, I tell you, it's going to be a great crowd down there. Who's the referee? I tell you, this game's got to be whoever the referee is. That's how it's got to be decided.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Interesting. Cool.
No, I think the Bulls have to win.
Yeah. All right.
They have to if they want to keep their
You see, that would have a few weeks ago. That would have been an easy one. I know the Bulls will win that one by a canter. Now everyone's thinking about it, and it's like, what are these guys going to do the next week? All right, is that it, Johnny?
Yes, that's it.
All right, Camper. We'll see how those go. Enjoy the week. We'll chat to you again next Monday.
No.
Thanks for joining us in the Flush Out.
fantastic.
Thanks, Campo.
Speak to you next week.
Okay, cheers, David.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. There we go. That's David Campese joining us in the Flush Out every Monday at this time. Proudly brought to you by Imperial Collection, home of the signature brands. It's the importer and distributor of Bentley, Lamborghini, and Lotus. Visit www.imperialcollection.co.za. It's all one word, imperialcollection.co.za. Or drop by the dealership. You'll find them on the corner of William Nicol and Bryanston Drive. If you're in the market or even just want to go and have a look, they've got some awesome signature brands there. Imperial Collection, home of the signature brands.
This is Balls Visual Radio. Darren, Simon, Kate, and John. Weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central African Time. Balls.co.za.